In 2022, Gladys Chania was an experienced politician who contested for the Kiambu women representative seat with a Jubilee ticket. Additionally, Gladys had a prominent presence on Kenyan television as a seasoned family counselor, addressing topics such as marriage, family dynamics, and conflict resolution. However, beneath her Christian and community service persona lay a dark and vindictive side that saw her being charged with the murder of her husband, engineer George Mwangi. So how did Gladys, a perceived respectable member of society, fall from grace? Welcome to Silent Shadows. As always, if you appreciate our true crime storytelling, support our bi-weekly series by liking and subscribing. Together, we uncover compelling tales of crimes and mysteries in Kenya and beyond, presenting well-balanced narratives that respect the victims and their loved ones. Born in Thika, Kiambu County in the 1970s, Gladys Chania has always been passionate about serving and giving back to the community since she was young. This saw her join college, where she graduated with a certificate in teaching, and as a school teacher, Gladys worked as a primary school in Mwangi District, Kitui County, but she resigned after 2 years in 1996 to join Kenyatta University, where she studied a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology. During her time at Kenyatta University, she met George Mwangi. George, born on 10th January 1964, was a third born of 3 children, and he was an electrical engineer and an entrepreneur who ran several businesses. Although George was married to one Eunice Mwangi and had 1 child, he fell madly in love with Gladys, and in April of 1998, they solidified their union under Kikuyu customary law, making Gladys his second wife. The couple, Gladys and George, further solidified their commitment to each other 8 years later in 2006 when they got married at the Attorney General offices in Thika. Their family grew as they had 3 children, 2 girls and 1 boy. Despite their family growing, Gladys and George continued to pursue their individual and familial goals. For example, Gladys continued to pursue her education and obtained a master's degree in child and adult psychology from the University of Leicester in the UK. Upon returning to Kenya in 2011, Gladys opened a counseling psychology outpatient clinic in Thika called Right at Home Rehab. Since she had vast experience in addiction and rehabilitation gained through her work in the United States with the mentally ill and those affected by substance abuse. Under her management, the clinic grew, and in due time, it started offering inpatient substance abuse rehabilitation care, and it played a significant role in rehabilitating alcoholics in Thika, especially following the decree by President Uhuru Kenyatta to combat illicit brews. The following year, in 2012, Gladys would be thrown into the challenging world of politics when she interviewed for the position of the Kiambu TNA County Executive Coordinator and got it. This was a role which shaped her political journey. As the TNA County Executive Coordinator, she oversaw the TNA party activities and programs on the ground. Given her dedication and commitment to her role, she worked with the TNA political party until its merger with other political parties to form the Jubilee coalition ahead of the 2017 polls. Having learnt a lot in the field of politics since 2012, Gladys decided to run for the Kiambu women representative seat. During the 2017 general elections, she relentlessly campaigned for the position as seen here. However, she lost the elections to popular radio host Gadoniwa Musoba. Although Gladys Chania was passionate about serving and giving to her community, she had a dark and deviant side to her. In 2018, just a year after she ran for the Kiambu Women Rep seat, Gladys was fighting 3 fraud charges at the Thika Law Courts. The first case pertained to her defrauding 2 people, Eric Gadhogo and Martin Mwangi, a total of 450,000 Kenyan shillings. This was after promising to get them jobs and facilitate their travels to the US, since she was allegedly related to the former Kenyan ambassador to the US, Njeru Githai. In another case, the Salvation Army Church in Thika took her to court after she defrauded the church Kenya shillings 3.5 million through her rehab, the Right at Home Rehabilitation Center. It could be assumed that maybe Gladys Chania used these monies to fund her campaigns. Another organization called the East African Sub-Saharan African Safe Promotion Foundation also sued Gladys for defrauding them a total of Kenya shillings 480,000, promising to secure financial aid for their projects from the African Development Bank. Amidst these fraud charges, she did not give up her aspirations of holding a political seat in Kiambu County, since in 2022 she threw her hat once more in the Kiambu Women Rep race, and inasmuch as she campaigned fervently, as seen here, she lost to a more popular candidate, Anne Wamuratha. Nonetheless, the loss did not deter Gladys from continuing to engage with her fan base, as she continued to engage with them on Facebook and sharing words of motivation, as also seen here.
Good morning everyone. Just to remind you today that life is not always a bed of roses, but what I would encourage you all is, whenever you get some lemons, try to make some lemonade out of it, so that it doesn't go to a waste.
On the other hand, her husband, George Mwangi, was thriving in Rwanda as a businessman, where through his Prayan Limited company, he offered road construction services throughout the fast developing country. Despite his busy schedule, George would travel to Kenya every month to spend quality time with his family and friends. Consequently, on Tuesday, 13 September 2022, he flew to Kenya to be with his loved ones, with a plan of returning back to work in Rwanda a month later, on Tuesday, 18 October 2022. However, George could not make his return, as Gladys would brutally and selfishly take his life. So why would Gladys take her husband's life, you may ask? Their marriage of 24 years was allegedly on the rocks, and this was evident from their distant living arrangements. Despite Gladys and George living in different countries for extended periods of time, whenever George would visit Kenya, he would stay alone in their Mango home, while Gladys resided in their home in Thika. I know you may also be wondering what led to the strain in their marriage. Well, for starters, Gladys says several fraud charges had created a rift in their relationship, and the final blow to their union came when George had an affair with Lucy Muthoni, a secretary at a local school in Mangu. The relationship between George and Lucy began in late 2021 when Lucy, who was searching for a rental house, visited George and Gladys's home in Mangu. George offered her a vacant one-bedroom rental house in their compound, and Lucy paid for the rent using M-Pesa. As a result, George got her number and the two started texting. According to Lucy, George confessed that his relationship with Gladys was strained, toxic, and abusive. In the weeks that followed, George and Lucy continued talking via text, and love blossomed between them, and it was at this point that George asked Lucy to be his girlfriend. Lucy further maintained that whenever George was in Kenya, he did not hide their relationship, as they were often seen together in public. Specifically, they frequented local entertainment joints and social gatherings together. To publicize their relationship even further, George even introduced Lucy to his family as his second wife, a move that angered Gladys to the extent of her physically attacking Lucy in public and sending private investigators to track all her movements and intimidate her. As George's and Gladys's marriage continued to deteriorate, on Friday, 7th October 2022, George allegedly called his elder sister, confiding in her that he was having serious issues with his wife Gladys. Shockingly, he even told his sister that he was feeling depressed, and as if foreshadowing his death, he further told her that he felt that something bad was going to happen to him. The following day, in the afternoon of Saturday, 8th October 2022, George left his matrimonial home in Mangu to meet his childhood friend, John Weganjo, at their local spot. The two were later joined by Lucy, George's girlfriend. The trio relaxed for a while at the local entertainment spot before heading to a family function in Wamugudhoko village in Gatundu South to celebrate George's grandfather's 90th birthday. When the trio arrived at the event, Lucy was allegedly on the driver's wheel of George's double-cabin truck registration number KBY 849M. Other event attendees later told the reporters that the mood was tense when they arrived, since Gladys was also present at the event, and she was not happy with George for bringing his girlfriend Lucy to the event, and for Lucy to be driving his car worsened the situation. Later that evening, at around 6 p.m., George bid his family farewell, and along with Lucy and his friend John, went to Kimunyu Shopping Center to grab a drink. The three enjoyed their drinks and had something to eat, and at around 8 p.m., they went their separate ways, with George accompanied by Lucy heading to Mangu. George and Lucy arrived in Mangu at around 9:30 p.m., and they had a brief moment in the car where George promised to take her on a date the following day. Following this, Lucy claims she went to her house and George entered his matrimonial home. Unfortunately, that was the last time Lucy saw her lover, George Mwangi. Coincidentally, Lucy also alleged that she noticed that Gladys was at their home, which was very suspicious since Gladys was rarely present at their matrimonial home in Mangu, since she usually spent most of her time at their family home in Thika. Things took a tragic turn the following day on Sunday, 9th October 2022, when George failed to call his girlfriend Lucy at the time they had agreed to head out for their date. Concerned, Lucy then contacted two of his friends to inquire on his whereabouts, and his friends told her that Gladys had informed them that George had gone for a walk and left his phone behind. Unfortunately, Lucy would never hear from George again. Later in the day, Gladys then went to Kamwangi police station in Gatundu North, where she reported her husband as missing. Suspiciously, 2 days later, on Tuesday 11th October 2022, at around 8 p.m., Gladys then went to a different police station, Moya Police Post, where she also reported him missing, and she was given OB number 1811-10-2022 for reporting the case. She told the police at the station that in the morning of Sunday, 9th October 2022, her husband had left her in bed and gone downstairs. He left the house for a walk at around 10 a.m. and he never returned. It is essential to highlight at this point that, despite Gladys reporting her husband as missing, she did not pause her day-to-day activities to search for him or utilize her 22,000 Facebook followers in the search. It was business as usual for Gladys. For example, on the same day she reported her husband as missing at Moya Police Post, that is on Tuesday 11th October 2022, she posted on Facebook a quote saying, "If you can't understand life, just go and talk to a growing-up child and restart yourself." Also the following day, on the early morning of Wednesday 12th October 2022, just a day after reporting her husband missing at Moya Police Post, she again posted on Facebook saying, "Kata simu tuko Kameme TV," asking her followers to tune in to Kameme TV that morning, where she would be making an appearance to talk about women, politics, and leadership. Shockingly, after her appearance at Kameme TV, Gladys went live on Facebook celebrating getting 16,000 followers. However, she failed to make public appeals for help in finding her missing husband, George Mwangi. As the saying goes, whatever is done in the darkness always comes to light. On the evening of the same day, Wednesday 12th October 2022, casual laborers heading home from a busy day of work at a tea plantation in Kamunyeki village made a grim discovery at Kenny Forest in Gatundu North, the body of 58-year-old engineer George Mwangi. The body was wrapped in a black polythene bag, had been doused in acid, and concealed under a heap of cartons and empty cement bags. Following the grim discovery, the casual laborers promptly informed the chief at Kamunyeki, who in turn contacted the Kiambu police. The police visited the crime scene, and after processing it, they took George's body to Kenyatta University Funeral Home for a comprehensive autopsy, and the missing case now turned into a murder investigation, where detectives sought to establish who had taken George's life. The detectives started their investigations into George's gruesome death by first interviewing local residents of Kamunyeki, the area where George's body had been found. It turned out that Gladys was as bad at covering a murder as she was at convincing the people of Kiambu to give her the women's representative seat. Since the investigators established that on the same day, Tuesday 11th October 2022, that Gladys made a missing persons report to the Moya Police Post, eyewitnesses interviewed by the investigators reported to have seen her driving a double-cabin truck registration number KBY 849M, which was George's car. The eyewitnesses further asserted that she was heading towards Kiamunyaka Center, where the vehicle developed a flat tire and was fixed by a local mechanic. According to the police statement made by the mechanic, Gladys asked him for directions to Kiambu Forest, and once the tire was fixed, she took off to the direction of the forest. Another witness who works at a tea collection point in Kiambu told the investigators that she remembered seeing a fast-moving double-cabin pickup truck being driven by Gladys Chania on Tuesday, 11th October 2022 at around 3 p.m. with a load which was wrapped in a black polythene bag protruding at the back. The witness claimed she flagged the vehicle down, hoping to let Gladys know the load at the back of the car seemed to be falling from the vehicle, but Gladys did not stop, and she sped towards Kiambu Forest, where her husband's body was discovered the following day. After the police had collected enough statements from eyewitnesses linking Gladys Chania to her husband's murder, they arrested her on Friday, 14th October 2022 as the main suspect in the heinous crime. Interestingly, Gladys was not arrested alone. This is because the police postulated that, given George's weight, Gladys would have definitely needed some manpower in helping her move the body, specifically wrapping the body with a black polythene bag and loading it in the back of the double-cabin truck. In consequence, Maurice Kamau, the new farmhand at her matrimonial home in Mangu, who started working there on Friday, 7th October 2022, just a few days before George was murdered, was also taken into police custody as the police believed that he was an accessory in his boss's gruesome murder. In the same day, Gladys and Maurice were arrested, that is Friday, 14th October 2022. The police intensified the investigations into the murder of the home's patriarch by visiting his matrimonial home in Mangu together with the detectives based at the Crime Research and Intelligence Bureau to collect any evidence connecting the two suspects to the murder. At the home, they found George's double-cabin truck, which Gladys allegedly used to transport his body to the Kiambu Forest, and a forensic examination of the truck revealed bloodstains on the floor of the cabin, ropes, and empty cement bags similar to those found covering the body at the scene. Additionally, after the detectives conducted a thorough forensic documentation of the house, they recovered in a locked room adjacent to the master bedroom blood-soaked bed sheets, curtains, and clothes. In the master bedroom, which was the room that Gladys and her husband George slept in, the detectives retrieved blood-stained metal rods which they believed to have been used in the brutal killing. Also in the master bedroom, the detectives identified blood splatter patterns on the bedroom walls, wardrobe, and stairway. The evidence led the police to believe that the motive behind Gladys killing her husband George was jealousy over George's very public extramarital affair with Lucy, and especially him taking her to the family event where she was also in attendance. The police further believe that Gladys murdered her husband on the night of Saturday, 8th October 2022 in their bedroom at the top floor of their house after he got back home from hanging out with Lucy and his friend John. The police further established that Gladys disposed of George's body kilometers away in Kiambu Forest almost 3 days later. What is also shocking was Gladys stayed with her deceased husband's body in the house for almost 3 days before attempting to dispose of it. You would think that in those days she would have hatched an elaborate disposal plan, but that was evidently not the case. Gladys Chania and her co-accused Maurice Mbogwa were arraigned in the Kiambu Law Courts on Monday, 17th October 2022. Disturbingly, prior to the court proceedings, Gladys displayed a lack of remorse for taking George's life by smiling at journalists, asking them to take more photos and requesting them to use the photos that she looked her best. It could be that Gladys was acting this way because maybe she thought she would get away with murder since she had friends in high places. In court, both Gladys and Maurice pleaded not guilty, and senior magistrate at the Kiambu Law Courts, Wilson Rudding, granted the police 7 more days to detain the suspects to allow them to finalize the investigations. Subsequently, during this time, the police focused their efforts in getting a confession out of Maurice Mbogwa, the farmhand at Gladys and George's Mangu home. Maurice told the police that on the afternoon of Tuesday, 11th October 2022, Gladys, his boss, asked him to assist her in carrying and loading a heavy load wrapped in a black polythene bag from the master bedroom onto the back of George's double cabin truck. Morris further claimed that Gladys allegedly informed him that the heavy load was a parcel destined for transportation to the airport. Morris, however, maintained he was not involved in George's murder. Nonetheless, due to him assisting Gladys in handling George's body, he was charged as an accessory to his murder. It is crucial to point out that when Gladys asked Morris to help him load George's body into the truck, George had been deceased for almost 3 days. As a result, there must have been a stench emanating from the load that Morris would have detected. Furthermore, George's body was only wrapped in a black polythene bag, hence when Morris was helping to load it into the truck, he could have easily detected that the load was a human body. What do you think? Is Morris as innocent as he purports to be? Let us know in the comments below. As the police continue the investigations to further ascertain the cause of George's death, an autopsy was conducted by government pathologist Dr. Johansen Odoi on Friday, 21st October 2022 at Kenyatta University Funeral Home. The autopsy report revealed that George had sustained multiple blows to the back of his head with a blunt object. This was consistent with the metal rods and blood splatter patterns discovered on the bedroom walls and wardrobe at his Mango home. Beyond the autopsy, the final piece of evidence that sealed Gladys Chania's fate was CCTV footage obtained by the police on Monday, 24th October 2022 from cameras installed by a Chinese construction company working on the Thika Mangu Magumu flyover. The footage captured Gladys in the late afternoon of Wednesday, 11th October 2022, driving George's double cabin truck with a load believed to be her deceased husband protruding from the back of the truck. The police believe that Gladys at this time was on her way to dispose of the deceased body in the forest. About 2 weeks later, Gladys Chania and Morris Mbugua appeared before Senior Magistrate Wilson Rading at the Kiambu Law Courts for a bond plea hearing. The magistrates granted them bail set at 1 million Kenyan shillings each. However, both individuals were unable to raise the bond amount and continued to be detained at Langata Women's Prison and Committee Maximum Prison, respectively. As a result, Gladys Chania would miss her husband's burial, which was on Thursday, 27th October 2022, at their family home in Mangu, as seen in this video. During the private burial ceremony, where media access was restricted, George's friends and family called for justice and for those who took his life to be held accountable. To make up for not attending her husband's burial, Gladys penned a heartfelt tribute to him, which was printed in his eulogy and read during the funeral by her younger sister, Judy. The tribute read, "My husband, it has been 24 years since the day we settled together on Sunday, 25th April 1998. We have grown from 2 to 5. I thank God for the way your care and concern surrounded our family day in and day out. Just like any other family, we had our high and low moments, but each day we held our love for each other by reminding ourselves of how far we've come. For now that you've left us untimely, we shall try to fill in your shoes, but it's already difficult to fill them. Our son already wonders that you will not see him go to university. I promise to uphold all your wishes, more so to see the success of your children. Rest in peace, my love, the father of my children." A few days after the funeral, on Wednesday, 2nd November 2022, Gladys Chania and Morris Kamau were formally charged with the murder of engineer George Mwangi at the Kiambu High Court in front of Judge Mary Kasango. The case is currently ongoing and Gladys Chania remains at Langata Women's Prison, while Morris Mbugua is held at Committee Maximum Prison. We shall be sure to keep you updated on its progress. From this case, it is evident that hell has no fury than a woman scorned, and Gladys killed George out of jealousy and anger, but in that moment of anger, she failed to think through the consequences of her actions, especially on her children. Or maybe she thought she could get away with murder since she had friends in high places. Additionally, she lacked a clear plan for moving George's body out of the house and disposing of it, resulting in numerous mistakes that led to her eventual arrest. We truly hope that justice will be served in this case, and Gladys will be brought to book for the heinous murder of her husband, Engineer George Mwangi. We send George's friends and family, especially his children, our heartfelt condolences, and may his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you for joining us today, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to be notified of updates about the case. Until then, please take care, stay safe, and always trust your gut.